waffles in the morning, syrup sweet and slow. Golden stacks are rising, sunrise in the glow. Sticky choice so grand, breakfast on demand. Smile and take my hand in waffle wonderland.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Wafflecast. So today we're going to talk about cards from Tarkir Dragonstorm that I think are going to make a huge impact in Standard in the next couple of years. So this is going to be long. We got 15 cards to go over, so let's just jump into it, right? We got Voice of Victory is the first one here. It's a 1/3, 2 mana, so it's a 1 and a white human bard with mobilize 2. Whenever it attacks, create 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature tokens that you sack at the beginning of the next instant. The other thing on this thing is your opponent can't cast spells during your turn, which is crucial for some of the decks that like to play very aggro-y. They like to attack. Then you got the combat tricks that come in. Your opponent kills something or does something. This shuts it all down. So I think this card's going to be really good in some kind of aggro shell. I don't see this in control, except maybe to just play it so you can get your spells through and you don't get in a counter spell war. That's the only thing I can really see this utilized as. And so maybe you just stick it on the board as just a 1/3. Hey, you can't cast stuff during my turn. Kind of like a, what is that, Grand Abolisher, which I feel like is much better. But anyways, for that type of scenario. But anyways, let's go to the next one, which is Static Snare. So this is the uncommon. So I choose a rare mythic, and then a common or uncommon from each color. And we just go over it, right? So this one's Static Snare, 4 mana, 4 generic, and a white. Has Flash as an enchantment. And this spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature. So this is kind of like a white Witchstalker's Fury from Wilds of Eldraine. Only this comes in and it exiles target artifact or creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. So you can, let's say your opponent attacks with 3 creatures, you can flash this in for 1 and a white to remove their best attacking creature and get it off the board. So I think it's very good uncommon that could definitely see play in some kind of control shell. Even like an aggro deck, sideboarding this in against another aggro deck. You know, you're both attacking pretty fast. You attack with 3 dudes, flash this in before blockers, get rid of their best blocker, and then get some good damage in. All right, here we go with blue. So we have Naga Fleshcrafter, right? This one's 3 and a blue. Shapeshifter. Wow, say that 3 times fast. When you have this creature, you may have this creature enter as a copy of any other creature on the battlefield. This is a clone, but it's a clone with a twist. It has Renew, 2 and a blue. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a 1/1 counter on target non-legendary creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that card. Wow. Yes, you can only activate it as a sorcery, but there are some shenanigans to where you can do this and make all of your dudes into a specific creature to be able to combo off or maybe do something really wild, you know? So I think this card could definitely see an impact with some kind of combo deck. You can definitely discard it, you know, surveil it off the top to get it into the graveyard to faster activate it and not even care about bringing it in as a clone, all of that. Or you can just copy their best creature. Then we get into the uncommon here, Roiling Dragonstorm. I think this card, along with the Black Dragonstorm, might see its way into Esper Pixie, just because it's an enchantment that you can bounce back, you can do some fun things with. This one's for 1 and a blue. When this enchantment enters, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. When a dragon enters, return it back to your hand. Obviously, Pixie has other ways to do it, but being able to draw 2 and discard the worst card out of your hand, or a Naga Fleshcrafter, would be really good, right? All right, so our next one here, we have Sidisi, Regent of the Mire. Costs 1 and a black. Legendary creature, Zombie Snake Warlock. Has a special ability here. Tap it to sacrifice a creature you control with mana value X other than Sidisi. So you sacrifice any other creature other than Sidisi. Return target creature card with mana value X +1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. It's a 1/3. I don't see you going super aggressive with it. It's mainly used for its ability, which I think can be really abused depending on certain things like delve. Like if you delve out a good creature and then sacrifice that high cost creature to get back something really powerful. I think it has a lot of potential to do some really crazy things. So I think this card is going to be on a lot of people's radar because it being a 1/3, not coming in for tax. It's definitely for its ability. All right, so uncommon. I could have chosen the black Dragonstorm, but I feel like we already kind of talked about it. So we're going to talk about this one. Strategic Betrayal. I think this will definitely see some play, especially with graveyard strategies and other things out there. This one says, for 1 and a black, target opponent exiles a creature they control and their graveyard. So, choose an opponent, they sacrifice a creature that they choose. If they only have one, that's the only one that gets chosen, and their entire graveyard goes with it. I think it's really good. Yes, it could have been better at instant speed, but I think sorcery speed is just fine for what it does. All right, moving into red. I didn't see a whole lot that I liked with red, and then I came across this guy, and I was like, oh, this actually has some power behind it. So a 4/5, 4-mana dragon, Magmatic Hellkite, right? 2 in double red, creature dragon, flying. When this creature enters, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. Hey, we've seen this before. Its controller searches their library for a basic land card and puts it on the battlefield tapped. We've seen that before. But it comes in with a stun counter on it. So not only do you take away a man land, a fountain port, some kind of utility land, it also puts a basic land into play tapped, which normally Demolition Field and a couple others puts it into play untapped. So it's already starting off better. And you landlock your opponent. Get it? Landlock. By putting a stun counter on it. So the next time they untap, they're now shut down on that land for another turn. So not only do you destroy a land, you keep the land tapped for an entire turn. I think that's pretty powerful, actually. So I think this card will definitely see some play in red. I don't know if it'll make its way into an aggressive mono red build, but I could see mid-range control playing this type of deck. All right, so we get into the red uncommon, which is Breaching Dragonstorm. 4 and a red for an enchantment that when this enchantment enters, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast it without paying its mana cost if that spell's value is 8 or less. If you don't, put the card into your hand. This is basically Cascade for 8. Like, this is insane. You're paying 5 mana for the potential of casting an 8 mana spell on turn 5. And if you set it up with a Surveil or something, this is bonkers. Like, I think this is really good. And then the secondary effect, when a dragon enters, return it, which is cool. I think Breaching Dragonstorm is going to be really good. I think there's going to be some decks that abuse the crap out of this card, and it becomes a nuisance. And it's going to be a really good uncommon. Moving into green. Green, again, I felt the same way like I did with red. I didn't think there was a whole lot. I think red and green are like the weakest colors in this set, being that Esper colors are really strong. But then again, other sets are going to come out, probably make the green and red stronger. Who knows? But Nature's Rhythm. For X and double green, this is kind of like a Green Sun Zenith. You pay X to go search out a creature card, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. Yes, it doesn't shuffle back into your library like Green Sun Zenith did, but you do have the Harmonize ability to use it again from your graveyard. This helps you find combo pieces, find toolbox type creatures, all these different things. So I think this card's really good for green. Then we get into the uncommon Synchronized Charge. Again, didn't see a whole lot of things I liked, but this card I thought was really good for some kind of mid-range aggressive strategy. You can early game put some 1/1 counters on some creatures, get in for maybe a couple damage with the Vigilance and Trample. Yes, it's sorcery, but then late game you can harmonize it and put another 2 1/1 counters and have potentially up to 4 creatures that have Vigilance and Trample. I think that's pretty strong, and there's a lot of creatures in this deck, or a lot of creatures in Standard that could really benefit being pumped up and being able to attack and then be on the defense. So I think this is a decent card. All right, so we're going to get into multicolor here, right? This first one here, I really like this card. I feel like it was designed after another snake. Fang Keeps Familiar. Mystic Snake is what I'm referring to. But this has a lot more utility to it than Mystic Snake did. So this is for 1 generic black, green, and blue. It's a 3/3 flash creature that when it enters, choose 1. So you have multiple effects here. You can gain 3 life and Surveil 3. You can destroy target enchantment, or you can counter target creature spell. So I think this card's going to see some play in some kind of mid-range control deck. Being able to flash it in at the end of your opponent's turn, gain some life and surveil to set up your next turn while having a 3/3 creature out there, really good. Or flash it in end of turn, destroy their leyline binding, get something of yours back. Yeah, there's a lot of potential here, right? Now this card is the card that I was most excited about. And now that I'm really looking at this, I just realized, like, I have this tapestry on my wall that looks very similar to this. I'll have to take a picture and put it in here for you guys to see. But Jeskai Revelation gives me Cruel Ultimatum vibes. Now, if you played back during the era of Cruel Ultimatum with 5-color control and all that, that was a really fun deck to play. Jeskai's Revelation, or depending on who you were, maybe it was really fun, maybe you hated it. I really enjoyed the deck. Anyways, Jeskai's Revelation has 5 things that it does. Cruel Ultimatum had 6. This has 5. But the biggest bonus to this, like, I'm okay with him taking 1 away by giving this thing instant speed. This has instant speed. You can cast this on your opponent's turn at the end of their turn. You can cast it during combat. You can do a numerous amount of things with this, right? And it's much easier to cast than Cruel Ultimatum. So, let's break it down, right? Return target permanent to its owner's hand. That's the first thing. Jeskai Revelation does 4 damage to any target. You can hit them to the dome. You can kill a creature. You can do all kinds. You can hit a planeswalker. That's the second thing, right? Create 2 1/1 white monk creature tokens with prowess. That's huge. So now you got 2 bodies on the board. Draw 2 cards. That's number 4. Gain 4 life. The draw 2 is great because it doesn't have a discard effect after it too. It just says draw 2 cards. Cruel Ultimatum, you drew 3. You gained 5. They lost 5. They sacked a dude. You got a dude. I mean, I think this card's phenomenal. I think it's going to see a lot of play. There's going to be some kind of control deck that plays this because this card, I feel, would be really good against Overlords because Overlords is all about dealing with your opponent's permanents as with leyline binding and something like that. This just goes, I don't really care. I'm going to do some stuff. So I think this card's going to see some play. I'm definitely going to build around it. I'll tell you that much. All right, so we're going to get into the uncommons here. Frontline Rush, a red and a white. Choose 1, instant speed. Create 2 1/1 red goblins, or target creature gets +X/+X until the turn where X is the number of creatures you control. I think this is going to be a really solid uncommon. I think you'll see play in a lot of aggressive strategy. Could see play in control as a way to make 2 goblins as chump blockers. Not sure yet if that's going to be something that's viable, but we'll see. All right. So we'll talk about the other elephant in the room because I didn't talk about Crater Hoof. Yeah, obviously I could have picked Crater Hoof Behemoth. But I chose not to because we all know Crater Hoof Behemoth. It's a reprint. We want to talk about new cards, right? Well, this next one is a pseudo reprint, right? We had Siege Rhino. Now we have Skirmish Rhino. Cost 1 less than its brother, which was, this is a white, a black, and a green. So it dropped the colorless generic cost. It did get reduced down to a 3/4 from a 4/5. It still has trample, but its life gain, life loss has been dropped down to 2. It's still a phenomenal card, right? Got downshifted to uncommon versus rare, which is understandable when you're reducing the power level of a card. You're also going to want to reduce the rarity, which makes sense. Phenomenal card for limited. Like, draft every single one you get if you're in those colors. No reason not to. But as far as standard goes, I don't see why this guy wouldn't see play. Especially if we play that green card, I forget its name already. But you put a 1/1 counter on it, give it vigilance. It already has trample, but make it a 4/5, and then later on pump it up again. I think this card is really good, really solid, really good at just beating face. All right, last but not least, we got the star of the show, right? We got Ugin, Eye of Storms. I mean, he's the whole character storyline of Tarkir and what's going on and dragons and things, right? This card's amazing. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not. Yeah, you call me a fanboy. I don't care. This card's really good. 7 mana, 7 loyalty. When you cast a spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. This card's going to destroy standard. Destroy standard. I'm just telling you right now. +2, you gain 3 life and draw a card. If there's no board presence and you're not scared, you drop this and draw a card. And then the 0 mana, let's say you're behind and you're playing a lot of 1 mana, 2 mana artifacts. You could drop this, exile something, give yourself 3 colorless, go boom, take out 2 or 3 more things, and now it's really protected and it's sitting there. And 7 loyalty, it's going to be quite hard for them to just annihilate this thing, right? You're going to have to be putting this into a very high losing board situation for them to kill it. Unless you're just that desperate and you're just like, I'm going to use it to exile 1 thing and gain some life and draw a card. So, and then the last ability, I feel is a super win more ability, but in some games it might turn the tide. But search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle until end of turn. You may cast those cards without paying their mana cost. Guess what? You could search out another Ugin with this. So you're like, hey, Ugin's at 11, pop this off, go get an Ugin, play the Ugin for free, and then just start dumping more to exile more stuff. Like, this is nuts. So anyways, I really like this card. I wouldn't be surprised if I try to make some kind of Jeskai shell with this guy and play the Jeskai Revelations with him because I just want to do a ton of things in 1 turn. Who knows? Maybe we'll make some kind... Ooh, yes. Breaching Dragonstorm with this in Jeskai Revelation. Oh, yeah. This is going to be some fun brew season, I'll tell you that much. But this is what I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got some. Maybe you see some cards that I didn't that you think are really going to pop out in Standard. I mean, obviously there's cards that I'm looking at the snapshot of what's already out, and we still have Edges of Eternity and a couple other sets that are going to come out that may make some of these cards more powerful that we are getting already. But what's out there right now, this is what I think is going to make impact. So thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for watching the video. And as always, I'm going to leave you guys like I always leave you. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And stay syrupy, my friends.
Waffles in the morning, syrup sweet and slow.